Have you ever been stuck on a project and you just don't really know where to begin? And this might be a problem you've run into. And hopefully this will help you, because I'm out of it. I'm feeling much better today. I'm feeling like I've made some progress. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did to get out of the slump. Sometimes you end up in these slumps because you're too focused on the end goal. It's like, okay, I want to win the competition, or I want to impress the client, or I want my boss to love this chart, or whatever it might be. You'll get focused on that end goal so much that this imaginary graphic, or if it's something else, this painting, if you're entering a painting competition, or if you're a musician or a writer, the end product in your head becomes so perfect and so amazing. And then you look at where you are, which is nowhere. It's a blank page. It's a blank canvas. And you think, oh, I have so far to go and not much of a direction. And you can get stuck. You can feel like you've dug yourself into a hole when really you haven't dug anywhere. You haven't done anything yet. That's where I've been with the Pacific DataViz challenge. It's an exciting challenge, and it's a challenge I've been excited to be a part of, but I've been feeling stuck. They provided 27 data sets. At first, it seems really exciting, and it's like, wow, I've got all this data we can work with, and it's exciting, and I don't even know where to begin. And like the first time you say that, you're excited, but then as you start to look at them more and more, it's sort of like, man, where do I even begin? So anyways, I was feeling a little stuck. It's the contest started on June 1st, and I started looking at the data sets, started exploring them a little bit, but I found myself constantly doing that. I'd load up a data set and I'd explore it a little bit, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I did some work, I'm done. And then I'd go back and I'd explore another one, and I just found myself struggling to figure out what direction to go in. And so I started to research the history of the Pacific Islands. So that was great and very valuable, but I still was struggling with, how am I going to visualize this, and how am I going to tell a meaningful and powerful story? And I also kept getting distracted by, how am I going to tell a story that's going to win? I kept finding myself like beginning to work on it, beginning to think about what direction I might go, and feeling satisfied with writing a bunch of R scripts and doing some exploration and being like, okay, that's good enough, and going and watching some TV, or playing a video game, or taking a break, doing something else, working on a different video. And really, I don't think I was making much progress at all. And yes, I was getting more familiar with the data, but it didn't feel like I was making any real progress. And so I took a step back. This is what I did. This is how I got out of that slump. And I would recommend it no matter what your art form is, whatever form of art you're studying, or whatever project you're working on. If you're feeling stuck, take a step back and think about why you do this at all. Why is it that you make paintings? Why is it that you write? Why do you make music? Are there artists that inspire you? Are there musicians that inspire you? Writers that inspire you? Go read their books. Go look at their work. Think about what it is that fuels you. Why did you start doing this sort of work to begin with? And for me, one of the painters that inspired me to fall in love with painting, to fall in love with art, and to fall in love with data visualization, believe it or not, is Robert Motherwell. And Robert Motherwell was an abstract expressionist painter whose work has always spoken to me. And there is a beautiful, I don't think it's on display right now, because it's in the Contemporary Gallery at the Baltimore Museum of Art, or at least it used to be. It was on the first wall when you first walk in. This is absolutely gorgeous painting, and it's enormous. It's like the size of like a side of a building, and it's these dark abstract forms, whoosh, just going across the canvas. And I've always found them very powerful, and it directly influenced a lot of my painting work. This is a painting of mine that I did, I think it was in 2006. It's called Winter. What a creative title. But it was directly influenced by Robert Motherwell in the way that those marks sat against white on a canvas. But anyway, Robert Motherwell's work is really important to me. So I spent some time thinking about how much I love that work, how much I loved painting in this style, and those sort of expressive, almost violent marks on a canvas. I thought, well, rather than worry about the story or the DataViz story for this chart, or rather than worry about winning or making something incredible, instead, I'm just going to make art. And I want to make a composition that gives me the same feelings that a painting like this gives me. And so I thought, well, let's just work on a map. There, I've got a direction. I'm not going to worry about story. One of the data sets they provided is these geometries for the islands. And so I grabbed those, made some visualizations, and I immediately started feeling better. I was like, well, I've got something. There's something on the screen now. It's not just exploring. I made something. I put this map on the screen, and it's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but boy, it actually kind of looks kind of nice. When you outline these islands, it looks pretty nice. And so I took some of the data that I'd found when I was exploring, so it ended up coming back and being useful, which was, how much had the shorelines on these islands eroded over time. And so I thought, well, let's put 2 lines on the map. We'll do a current shoreline and a historical shoreline. And you know what? Well, why don't we put some lines that connect them? And suddenly, we have a little story here. But not only do we have a story, we have a composition that's mirroring what I loved so much about some of these Robert Motherwell paintings. These big shapes that go across the screen. And I finished working on these, and I don't know that this is going to even be in my submission for the Pacific Data Challenge, though I am quite happy with it. But having taken that step back and rethought about why I love art, what inspires me about art, pushed me to start making. I got out of this spiral of research and study, and let me research again, let me ask some more questions, and you just end up spiraling and spiraling and spiraling and not actually getting anything done. Now, if you're a painter, that could be as simple as, maybe you're focusing on a really big brand new painting, maybe it's for a client. Well, instead of working on that painting, think about one element of the painting that they wanted and go get another canvas on the side and just paint it. Just do it, pick some element and paint it, and just start putting marks on canvas, and all of a sudden you'll find yourself flowing into that painting. If you're a writer, just start writing anything. Write a sentence. Describe the jacket you're wearing. Describe the last car that drove by. What kind of life is the person who's driving it leading? Maybe they lead a spooky life. Maybe they lead an interesting life. They're a secret agent. Whatever it might be, just start writing. And the second you start doing it, the rest starts to kind of flow in. And so I'm feeling very confident today. I like the direction that these images went. Whether they end up plugging into whatever my final submission is for this competition, I don't think it matters, because it got my brain going, got my creative juices flowing, and I'm feeling pretty good. So hopefully hearing this story is helpful to someone out there who's feeling stuck on a project. And thanks for watching.